This is a video of some experimentation that I've carried out. I carried on with the assignment and did a little bit more creativity with some of my materials, so I have taken a step back with these samples and gone slightly back to basics to the original idea. Now I have decided to work with hair as a material, and these investigations will demonstrate how I've transformed the material and using various substances like a matte paint, plaster of Paris, varnish and a white emulsion paint, and keeping the application just simple, knotting the hair, adhering the hair to a wooden frame and just knotting it, because real hair is actually very, very difficult to work with. It's almost as if you make the hair angry, it doesn't really take too kindly. So what we did here was we knotted the hair to transform the hair from straight into a knot, and then these various samples have been dipped into what I would call traditional materials, like the plaster of Paris, the matte paint, the varnish and so forth, just to see how the hair would react. Now, as you can see here, when I lift the samples, you can see how the plaster of Paris actually transforms the hair. It makes it very stiff, it makes it very rigid, and you can also see how traditionally the hair was used years ago in Watland or plaster for the walls in Tudor period to actually generate a surface for the walls, but obviously with the hair structure and how it disperses within the material, it actually becomes quite strong, so it goes from flexible to something that's quite rigid. And as we can see, the knot formation has still been maintained. And there is a larger sample there of the plastered knots, as we could call them. When you only half dip the material, you can actually see that you still get some flexibility in the hair, and it also, as well, interestingly, adds weight into the material. With this sample, we can actually see the matte paint. The matte paint has actually maintained its surface of quite flat and black, slightly adhered to some of the strands of hair. Again, now that it's dry, it's gone very stiff and rigid, but again, half dipping the product, you still get an element of flexibility, which I do think that this would enable me to refine these materials to make some more developments for construction. This one here is varnish, and as you can actually see, it's maintained its glossy, shiny finish. It's actually still made the product rigid from the flexibility, and adhering it to the wooden frame, you can actually see that it swings and it moves like the pendant of a clock. And then finally, my final sample is this one of paint dipped into emulsion. This one was divided to give me more knots. Again, it's still got flexibility and rigid, but still formed and sealed the knots. One thing that was quite interesting with these experiments, it did actually make me sort of analyse the theory aspect of hairdressing. Dipping the hair into a product and sealing it and allowing it to go hard, actually you technically, or in effect, you're sealing the cuticle, you're sealing in the cortex, and this gave me connotations of sealing in DNA and also sealing in somebody's identity. And you could actually seal it, saving a piece of history and time of somebody's hair.